Hello designers! Thank you for coming to this pattern party. This video is part of a series on how to create different patterns in Microsoft Word. These are for you to use in all your scrapbooking and your craft projects, any old place you may need a pattern for. Today we're going to make 3 patterns: polka dots, your basic stripes, and chevron. So meet me in Microsoft Word and let's get started. Okay, so we're in Word. Now I'm using Microsoft Word for Mac. If you're on a PC or if you have an older version, things might be a little different, but I've done it on the PC as well. They're fairly close. I'll make some little pointers when I can. The first thing we want to do is set up Word so it's easy to design in. So we want to go up to, I want you to find 2 panes we're going to use. The first is selection pane. So on mine, I'm going up to layout and see the selection pane. So we're going to stick this on the side. We're going to use this a lot when we're making patterns. And the other one I want to grab, I don't know why all the panes aren't together. Hello, Microsoft, can we have all the panes together? We want the format pane, and it is under, let's see, if we go home. So in order to get to the format pane, let's just put a little shape in. We're going to use this in a minute. And then all the way over here, you'll see format pane. For PC users, it's going to be a little different. I believe it's the styles pane, or at least you get there through styles. So it will take some, it took me, I edited this. It took me a while just to find those panes. But once you find them, we want those 2 panes up. So that's going to make our life a lot easier. Now, I'm going to delete this for now because what we need to do is set up our document. So let's go to, I'm going to go to format up here. And like I always say with Word, they usually give you multiple places to do stuff like this. You want to figure out how format document. And let's go to layout. You've got 2 buttons up here. Okay, that's not there. Page setup. Here we go. Page attributes. Again, this is going to be different in every one, but manage custom sizes. The other thing I love to do, if I don't know where things are, is Google. It's hard to say that fast. Okay, I want these margins to be 0. Oh, I just put in 20, 12. We're going to do a scrapbooking size. You don't have to do this, but if you are a scrapbooker, you can do this. And otherwise, you can print out this size on 8.5 by 11 as well, or you can take it to your local copy shop. There's also online stores where you can print this, but we're going to set everything up as a 12 by 12 sheet. I'm going to put header and footer 0, 0. We're not going to use that. Let's click back to margins. Now I have to re-enter these. So 0, 0, 0, 0. No margins. Okay. Word is going to freak out. It's okay. Ignore it. We know what we're doing. Okay, so now you have this nice 12 by 12 square. The first pattern we're going to make is polka dots. And I'm going to show you what the default is to make patterns from shapes, and then I'm going to show you how to tweak it just a little to make it a bit more professional and, in my opinion, just nicer. So go up to Insert, Shapes. Let's use a circle. And I'm going to hold my Shift key down. That may be different for you. And if you want to make it, you can always go up to your boxes here and just make sure it's the exact same size. Just about 1.5 inches. It doesn't really matter for this. Now, I am going to go up here and change my outline and my fill. You can also go to Format Shape. So let's go up here, no outline. And for shape fill, I'm going to scroll down to more fill colors, and I have picked out a beautiful, I have to find where they're going to let me. There's the hex color, a beautiful hex color for this, 294, and it's A5D. Okay, pretty. It's like a sultry navy or something. So select on your dot, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut it you need to learn your shortcuts. It's going to make designing so much easier. Cut, Command X or Control X, and that's okay. Now go back up to Insert, we're gonna make another shape, a square this time. I like to start over here so it doesn't get confused with my text cursor. And for our purposes, let's make it exactly, see I'm clicking up here, 12 by 12. And then the other thing we're gonna use a lot in patterns is align. So you need to know where your align is. And here it's under shape format, align. And let's just center it. When I started designing, not even the design software had the align button. It took so long to do everything that it just makes it so easy now. So center this way and align middle. Okay, so we've just got this blue box. Let's go over to our shape, our format shape, our format pane. And again, those lines are gonna be the death of me. No line. I wish the default was no line. And now here's our fill. Here's what we're gonna be using throughout this whole series. We're gonna do picture fill. And we're gonna do, remember we use the cut command, clipboard. So there's our big giant dot, but we're gonna do this button here, tile picture as texture. And here you have your dots. This is kind of fun. It reminds me of like vintage Kate Spade. So let's scale this down. Don't worry about X and Y right now. That's kind of fun. I'm gonna go a little bit smaller. So let's do 30%. Okay, and then let me show you what your X, this is like how I like to think of it. I think I have to do it backwards for you. X goes this way and then fall Y. So X, Y. So we're gonna do the X to try to get, see how I have this extra space? I want it to feel a little bit more centered. And I could either play around with a scale or let's just move it a little. See if I can get it. Well, I don't know. And remember, these are gonna cut off a little bit, depends on your printing process. And then let's do Y now. See down here at the bottom? So Y, we'll do this. And we could also try, what happens if I do 31, 31? We'll bring it back a little bit. Well, that's not what I want. Let's go back to 0. So, I don't know. These are the things as a designer where you get to kind of make your own decisions. That I kind of like. Now, this is cute and it's the easy way to use the pattern fill. However, I want real polka dots. So I'm going to delete this. And what I mean by that is, now we can go up, you can go up to paste, or you can use your shortcut key, Control or Command V. So here's our dot again, and I want to add some space around it. So I'm going to insert another square this time, shapes square, and I'm just going to kind of make it, give it a little room. And let's make this a perfect square too. So 1.8 looks good. 1.8, 1.8. Now send this backward. Come up here to your shape format bar, and we're going to send that to the back. And now we're going to select both of these, either Control and click or Shift and click. Back up to our align. Remember I said align, align, align. And we're going to align center and also align middle. So these are perfectly centered with each other. Now, again, I'll go to format shape this time, back to your little paint bucket, no line, and no fill. We're just using this square for space. So select on both, make sure you have both selected, and then we're gonna group these together, and we're gonna cut this whole thing. Now back up to insert, let's make another box to put our pattern in. I'm gonna try to do better this time. Let's see, well, no, still gonna change it, 12 by 12, and we're gonna align it center and align it middle and go back to fill, and we're gonna do picture or texture fill. Now that's the one we had on the clipboard before. Now when we hit clipboard, we've got all that space. We're gonna tile picture as a texture, and now we have real polka dots, and you can make your square even bigger depending on how you want it. I'm gonna reset all these to 0. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. Let's stay at 31, see where we land. There we go. Oh, this is looking so cute. So I'm gonna I'm gonna tick these down. Let's try 30 and 30. Pretty nice. Now let's try our X just to get these. I want this centered within the box because we know our box is centered within the page. And then the Y can come down just a little. Ta-da! Isn't that gorgeous? Now let's add one more thing. Again, I don't know why this pane is in here, but design, and then over to page color. And I'm gonna go to more colors because I have a secondary color I wanna use. Let's click up here until I find, there's my hex color. And this one is like a beautiful coral, E88, E88, 868. Hello? It did not like my color. 88868. Oh, you know what? I bet one of those is a, no, that's right, E88688, okay. There it is. So this is our polka dot pattern. Let's move on to stripes. We've got a new blank page. Now, when I was selling my papers on Etsy, I really loved just a basic stripe, but I couldn't figure out, it took me a while to figure out how to do this. So it's gonna feel a little strange. We're gonna go insert, shape, line, and just mark it down. And we're gonna make this, we need to make it bigger than 12 because I'm gonna make it 18. And we are gonna use our align again to center this. You know what I didn't do? I didn't put my format pane up. I'm gonna do that now. And we're gonna need our selection pane too. So I'll get to that in a second. And so our line, we're gonna make this, you know, I want it, that's probably pretty good. So let's say 15 points, make a nice round number. And I'm going to use my line and center this, even though you won't really be able to tell. I just want to keep everything centered. So now let's go back to layout, selection pane. Okay, so we just have one straight connector right now. Now you can copy, use your, you can highlight it here and you can copy and paste it like so, drag it down a little, or you can grab, I'm gonna grab 2 of these and I'm gonna hold down, I think Option and drag for Mac and Control and drag, I believe. So we're gonna keep going. Keep going. And now if you want to, like I'm gonna come over to my selection pane. This is one of the limitations of the PC version is that you have to hit Control and click for each single one. And if you're in a Mac like I am, you can just hit the bottom one, hold Shift down and hit all of them. So I'm sorry, if somebody knows a different way to do that in PC, let me know because I will share it with everybody. Put it in the notes below. Okay, I'm gonna move this up because I'm gonna drag a big mess of these. And they don't have to be perfect right now because we're gonna use our align key, but I do want them to go down past the page. So we know there's some hanging out down there. So now, I'm sorry, PC people, you have to select all of them individually. Also, you may try, sometimes Control all works and you can group them, but sometimes it doesn't. It's not giving me that option because it considers, I think, part of the page, part of the group or something, I don't know. So you wanna get all these selected and we're gonna go back to my favorite, the align key, align center. And here's a really important one. Distribute vertically. So you can see how they have little lines here. They're gonna make all those lines perfectly spaced. Math, it's amazing. You don't have to do it yourself. So distribute vertically, and then everything's perfect. And now I am gonna group it while I have all these selected. Group these, and now you could do just plain stripes like this, but I like to just add another little level. That's why we went beyond the page. And we're gonna rotate this, I think 45. Am I right? Yes. which is great. But you can see, even going beyond the page, I still have these sections here. I always want to point, even though you can't see my fingers, here and here. So what I'm going to do, we're still grouped together. See, if I click over there, I'm going to click on this and just drag it up a little bit. And it'll keep everything the same. And I'll drag it down here. Uh-oh, I lost my group. You need that handle. Give me my handle back. There it is. I'm gonna drag it down here a little bit. And then just kind of move this, hold it down and move it a little bit. And there are my stripes. And obviously you can play around with thinner stripes or thicker stripes, whatever you want, but I love these. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did for the polka dots, which is I'm gonna go design. I remembered. Design, page color. And I'm gonna add one more color. And there's my hex color. So I'm gonna add, let's see if I can do it right the first time. C7DAD3. Okay. Oh, I didn't color my stripes the color I wanted them. So let's go back to all my straight connectors, and they're gonna let me change my color. Beautiful! I can't believe that, see? Now, we have an issue here, look at that. So let's see if we can move it. We should have plenty of space. Yeah, we can. Oh my gosh, you guys. I think that's gorgeous. Is that gorgeous? I love it. I love those colors together. Okay, there are your stripes. We have one last pattern we're gonna do, and that is the chevron. So come up to insert, shape, and we're gonna do a line, or as Word calls it, a straight connector, because you need a lot more letters than to just say line. And you know, I'm gonna hold my shift key down so that it stays straight. And I'm gonna come up to height. No, width, sorry, 1.68. So type that in, leave height at 0, because we're gonna use, with our format panel, we're gonna use our width with our points, and we're gonna put it at 26 points. So there you go. And we're going to use my, it should still be here, my beautiful, here's your color over here, sorry, my little coral from before. So here's our first line. We're gonna make a beautiful chevron pattern from this line. Okay, now we're gonna come up to the, under shape format, under rotate, more rotation options. And we're gonna rotate this 42 degrees. There we go. And now we're gonna copy this, Command C or Control C, and we're going to go back to rotate for the second little line, and we're gonna flip this horizontal. Okay, so we're gonna make this sort of V shape. Now this is the tricky part, is getting these two, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit for this part, getting these two to line up. So just do the best you can. And then I'm going to click on both of them. I'm going to select both of them, either Control or Shift, hold them down. And with the align, we're going to align bottom so that they're pretty much equal together. Yeah, you can kind of tell by these green dots lining up. Now, let's go back to layout. Let's group those. Okay, and I'm going to zoom back out. So I've got my first one, right? And we're gonna scooch that over and off the page a little. And let's copy and paste that and move it over. Now we're gonna just do the best you can. It's a little, I'll zoom in a little bit closer. It's a little trickier than the first time. You don't want to be too, you don't have to be perfect, but try to get it as close as you can. And that way, in just a minute. I'm going to do one more off the page. Now this is when the selection pane really comes into play. Selection pane, I don't have it up. So I'm gonna close all these because I don't need to see all the individual items. And I'm gonna select either one at a time. We'll do it just for our PC people, we'll do it for that. Now back under align, we're gonna go ahead and align bottom again. So everybody's together. And now this one is very important. Distribute horizontally. With the stripes we did vertically, this time we're gonna make sure everything is together horizontally. So click on that. Everything just shifted just a touch, but that's what makes it exactly where you want it. And now we can group these together. That was the hard part. It's all smooth sailing from here. So let's move this up. And I'm gonna hold down my option key and just drag these about where I want them. You really don't have to be perfect for this one. You can also copy and paste these. I mean, don't be too crazy, but our trusty old align button is just gonna fix all of this for us. And I'm gonna do two more down here just because I can see, well, maybe not. Let me cut these. Let's close all these windows in our selection pane, or close all these, collapse. Collapse is the word I'm looking for. And let's select all these again. Let's move them up because I want my chevron to go off not that far off the page, but off the page a little. Is that my top one? Yep. Okay. And then I want this one to go off the page just a little. I may move this. I'm just going to click on the top one and move it down a little bit. Okay, now let's go back over and select everybody. Back to align center. Look at that, everything looks beautiful. And then align. Now we're gonna go vertically, just like we did with our lines. Distribute vertically. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I just want to center this myself. I'm just gonna grab all of them with my mover key. And there we go. And I'm going to add let's go back to design. I am going to add a page color, although I think the white is beautiful. And I'm going to do the third combo for this one. Gorgeous. Now, my page color, I don't know if you just noticed that. It shifted my lines down a little bit. So sometimes that happens because I think the page color adds this rectangle there. A little glitchy thing. So I'm gonna move it back up. Oh my gosh, you guys. Love it. That is your 3 patterns. Thank you so much for coming to design with me today. That was so fun. Let me know what else you want to learn. Check out the other pattern videos in this series. I think you'll find that they all kind of work together and you just have endless possibilities of what you can create. There are 8 million links below of where to find me, things you might need, the free download to the papers we worked on today, which is on my website. And if you like it, please like it. And if you want to subscribe to stay in touch with me, I'd love it. And I think that's it. I'm Christy Kelly, and thank you so much for watching.